Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? You are watching The Lit Individual Show. I'm Tony Benton Jr. You know, we're talking with lit individuals doing lit things in their own industries. Today, I got a double dose of lit individual for you, right? We couldn't just have just one. We had to bring on two. I'm talking about the one and only content creation couple extraordinaires, the marriage enthusiasts, and I call them uncle and auntie. Let's go ahead and give it up for Lele and RiRi in the building. Oh my gosh, we've got the Montgomerys here today. How y'all feeling other than thankful? I feel like thankful. The shirt's speaking, huh?
It's speaking.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
loud.
That's a good word, right?
Right.
I love it. I love it. Well, first of all, I mean, I want to talk about Lele and RiRi, right? You know, you two, we've known each other for a long time, right? And then I see you two coming across my TikToks, and you came across my Facebook and my Instagram of you two doing social media content. So, I mean, you know, this question, whoever wants to kind of kick it off, how did you guys get started becoming Lele and RiRi? How did this all come to be?
You want me to start?
Yeah, I'll let you start.
Okay. Real talk.
Let's
This is
get
for
real
real.
talk.
This is real talk. So, my sister passed away last year, but that's not, what we're here to talk about. But when about a week before her funeral, my twin sister came to Atlanta, and I was like, I'm thinking about doing this like content creation, like Christian comedy online kind of stuff. And I said, I think I'm gonna go all in. So about a couple days after that, I went to Leon. I said, I think I want to do content creation. I said, but God told me we supposed to be doing it together. And then he said, what? He said, I can't believe you said that. He said, well, because I wanted to come to you and ask you to do it. Is that kind of how it went?
Yeah. That's how it went.
And I said, really? He was like, yeah, I've been wanting to do this marriage comedy stuff. And then he just took it from there, and like, everybody thinks I'm like orchestrator of it.
Like you're the mastermind behind it.
Like I'm the mastermind behind it, because I'm always so vocal, and I had, an online prayer ministry and always online. But honestly, he is the mastermind behind it. All the creative direction, all of the ideas, everything, he comes up with it.
Wow. And
I'm like the business mind behind it, but he's the on-camera creator of it.
Leon, what is that? I mean, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, where she brought the idea. Well, not brought the idea to you because you kind of had the same idea as well. But when she came to you and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and you said, I've been thinking about that as well. Talk to me about how that kind of started from your point of view once the idea was brought to you and you said, we're on the same page.
It was. I was a little surprised when she even brought it to me. And I be on social media a lot. I'm a big, social media person. I just like watching the videos and watching, just comedy and just, And so, and I don't, the algorithm is a little different. If you click on one thing and then it start feeding you all this other, all these things that you clicked on. So I like comedy, and I said I want to do something, surrounding, marriage humor.
Yeah. And
so, we came up with, standing in front of the house, having a little caption on the page, and we're, laughing or having a mean mug looking at each other or something like that. And so that's how it all started. And it kind of just grew from there.
Now talk to me. I mean, because you all are marriage enthusiasts, right? You guys love. You love the concept of marriage. You have a beautiful family. You've been together for, how many years now?
We've been together 27 years, married.
27 years now.
He get the number right better than I do. That's why I looked at him.
He was like,
I was like, wait a minute, what's the number?
27 years married and 37 together.
Wow. So being able to, really, I guess after that time, you guys kind of found some ways to be able to laugh at certain things within relationships that might seem really serious or seem really heavy. What was it like being able to say, hey, let's take these concepts that most people would maybe roll their eyes at, go to bed mad at each other, and be able to find some humor in it? How did you kind of come up with that concept there? And what has it been like kind of coming up with these scenarios?
Well, most of those concepts and scenarios are already out there on social media. But, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so you just take that concept and tweak it to make it your own. And so pretty much that's what we have been doing.
Yeah.
And then, we've been implementing some originality stuff in between, especially in our skits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about those skits, because
Yeah.
y'all kids be getting y'all in trouble. The way y'all be looking at each other like, what?
Yeah, that's original. Like the Hey Mom, Hey Dad. Leon, again, when he is like in his zone, he might be at a sports bar watching sports or whatever. I'm technical, so I would probably use my phone. He literally gets a napkin, and this is real talk, and write concepts on the napkin. So he came to me with this napkin. He was like, "Oh, I want to do this. Hey Mom." First it was Hey Dad. I'm sorry. He was like, "I got these Hey Dads." He was like, "I want Josh. I want to start incorporating Josh into the videos." And I said, "What?" So I read them. I was like, okay, these are kind of good. These are kind of good. So we did the first one, and it went crazy.
Man.
And then we did another one, and it went crazy. So then my daughter moved back. My oldest daughter moved back to Atlanta, and he was like, "Oh, we need to incorporate her." So we started doing the Hey Moms. So the Hey Moms are directed at me, but it is like she's daddy's girl. So she's doing stuff to like get me
Get you in
kind of in
trouble
trouble
a
with
little
him. Yeah. And then my son does the Hey Dads, but it's like he's mama's boy. So he's getting him in trouble with me.
Which is true.
So it fits, right?
No, yeah.
I love it. Seems like a fun thing for the entire
Oh, my
family,
God.
to be able to have those instances. And I'm sure the reaction. Talk to me about the reaction, the comments that you see where people are like, yeah, I've been there.
Be honest with you, I really don't like reading the comments.
But they tell you to stay away from the comments, but
she the one got me reading them.
Yeah.
And so, for the most part, they're all good. They're funny, and a lot of them can relate to what we're putting out there. But I really don't like reading the comments.
look, sometimes they tell you to stay out of the comments because the comments can be an interesting place.
Because I know me, I ain't gonna hold my tongue.
Yeah.
But I know that
might
this is a
respond.
business now, so I gotta keep the brand in mind.
Yeah. Okay. So he's being mindful of the comments. I'm guessing you reading the comments, or are you reading the comments? What's the comments been like? Whether they're some people are saying maybe they're too serious about the jokes because some people can't take a joke.
Yeah.
Do you get some of those sometimes?
Yeah, we get people who get too serious. We get people who are mean and ugly in the comments. We get people who go off the deep end, but mostly I'm reading them to see if it landed. And I'm reading them to see if like the joke went in the right direction. And so I'm more analytical behind it. Okay. So when I'm in the comments, I don't take it personal. Okay. So I'm like, it is what it is. We wouldn't be in if we were going to be, what did it say? Don't have the tough skin or whatever, or wear it on your shoulder. Yeah, you're being your feelings, then you don't need to do it.
Right.
So they take stabs at everything. Like they take stabs at
they talked about our clock.
Our clock on the wall.
Our clock on the wall. Yeah, the battery.
In the background?
It's in the background.
And
it don't have batteries in it, and we
every black household got a clock with no batteries.
And so they go in on that. Yeah. I remember one time when we were doing bedroom scenes, Leon had his phone face down. And they were like, why that phone face down on the on the nightstand? Oh my God. I remember one time we did one of the food scenes with the crab legs, and I was like, this was when we first started. I was like, I think I should refresh this Coke because it looked flat in the cup, right? And it was a see-through cup. And I was like, Leon was like, ain't nobody watching the cup. Sure enough, we put the video up, and it was like that Coke look a little flat, and
you was like, oh, the devil's in the details.
I know, in the details, and that's when I really started me getting anal with details. He was like, ain't nobody looking at that. One day, he had a T-shirt on, and they made comments about the graphic shirt that he had on, and he was like, "Ain't nobody looking at my shirt." And so I said, "Well, actually, they are." Yeah. And I'm reading the comments about it, and I said, "When you wear he's a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity." I said, "For some reason, when you wear your Omega shirts, the comments go up
because the algorithm."
Yeah.
It goes
Yeah.
up.
Keep it.
We're not tagging Omegas. There's
No.
nothing that we have Omega tagged in.
can just read it
But
probably.
his shirt, when he wears it, we notice that the comment goes up. We both graduated from HBCUs. When we wear HBCU shirts, it goes up. Now,
Wait, real quick. What schools we repping? What HBC?
Oh, I represent Morris Brown College.
Morris Brown College.
and FAMU, Florida
rattlers, boy.
Agriculture and Mechanical University, on the highest of 7 hills down in Tallahassee, Florida. Okay, I'm sorry. I
You were
digress.
excited about
yeah,
it.
but FAMU.
Yeah.
But we, he started then, once I said they are paying attention to the shirts, he started doing wardrobe. So, like, even what we're wearing today, he ordered these.
Wow.
He orders all of our graphic shirts. He orders anything God is dope or whatever type t-shirts that we're gonna wear.
Yeah.
He started ordering them for the skits. Like I say, he's the creative director. He got into it. He was like, okay, we're gonna wear this today, or we're gonna wear that, and or I want you to wear this and whatever. So he really is in front of the camera. He orchestrates it.
I love it.
I have a business degree from FAMU, so I'm all about numbers.
Gotcha.
I'm looking at numbers. I'm looking at our reach. I'm looking at followers. I'm looking at how long did it take us to get to whatever. So it'll tell you when you hit milestones, especially Facebook. You hit 1,000, you hit 5,000, 10,000, whatever. I'm like, how fast can we get to,
goals.
25,000, 50, 100,000, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at time of day. I'm looking at, of course, the money. I'm looking at, I stay on the professional dashboard literally probably 10, 15 times a day.
Wow.
Because I'm studying it truly, as a business. So
Yeah. So you're handling a lot of the creative, you're handling a lot of the business, and then I'm sure it's balancing each other off here and there.
Yeah, she comes to me with those numbers, with them analytics, but it'd be like wah, 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 wah.
You like, you can handle that, right? She hold it down. Let's talk a little bit about that in regards to not just Lele RiRi, but Leon and Karina, right? You all have been married 27 years, together 37. Just talk to me about just this marriage life in general. I know that we're in a different time, right, where people may look at marriage and a lot of different things. They may throw in the towel if it's just because of a couple, bad experiences. But everyone's journey is different. What has it been like as you all have been going through this marriage journey? Whether or not it's meeting other couples, things that you've just been able to see. Just what's your marriage journey been like over these 27 years?
You just start that off.
you want me to start it off?
I
and
bring
you'll
home.
finish it?
He said, I'll do the alley-oop, okay?
Yeah. Okay. So,
Do we want to start with how y'all met?
Yeah, that's a good story.
Let's start with how you met.
well, you want to tell that? Oh Lord, here we go. Go ahead.
Let's go.
Which she don't like this part of the story, but
It's the truth. It's the real.
it's
real.
the truth.
Let's get into
It's
the real.
true.
so we met in high school. Of course, we didn't attend the same high school. She was in Sarasota, and I was in Bradenton, two different cities, but they're adjacent to each other.
Yeah.
So her mom was on our program at church one Sunday morning, and like she said earlier, she has a twin sister, and I was in the choir singing. So saw some twins up front, sitting in front of the church.
Yeah.
So when I talked to my cousin Keith, I said, "Hey, I'm going down to holler at one of them twins after church." Sure enough, I did, but I went to holler at the sister.
Oh.
Yeah, so sister didn't want to have nothing to do with me, so I didn't, I was gonna get one of the twins. So I pursued her, but then she didn't want to talk to me either. And I think following summer,
summer.
I had a summer job when I was working in her city out on the beach. So and I had my license, so my foreman allowed me to drive the van. About 13 guys on the van. I said, "Can I just drive by my girlfriend's house?" Well, she wasn't my girlfriend at the time either. And sure enough, he did. So I drove by her house and knocked on her door, and that's when I invited her out on a date to go to the movies. But basically, that's pretty much how I started.
Oh.
Did I leave anything?
I was about to say,
No,
is that the
that's fine.
That's it right there. Now, from the time you guys met each other in high school, you knew each other for about 10 years, and then you got married.
Yeah, we dated
Throughout college.
Throughout college. Off and on.
Okay. And then for these last, again, 27 years, what's marriage been like? I know it's got its ups and its downs.
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
figuring things out. You're figuring yourselves out, figuring out the other person over and over and over again as you all evolve. What has marriage been like for you? And then same for you, Leon.
We learned a lot, and basically what he and I both discovered is that we didn't really have a blueprint. Meaning, I grew up in a single family home. He grew up, his grandmother raised him. So we didn't have like a mother, father in the same home, like examples of, love, showing conflicts, showing, how do you handle bills? How do you handle discipline the kids? We didn't have a blueprint for any of that. So it was a lot of trial and error. And the first, 15, 20, 27, I would say the first 15 years, it was rocky. It was rocky because me being from a single parent home, my kind of thing is my way or the way, because I didn't have, that's kind of the
Crazy,
that's so I made a lot of mistakes, and I talk about this in our book, Just Dance With Me, but I say that the house was upside down because I was trying to be in charge, and I'm not supposed to be in charge. He is the man of the house. I was trying to be in charge because, one, I worked in corporate America, and I was in charge of a lot of people. And then he was like, don't be coming home trying to handle me like you handle, your employees in corporate America. That was one of the, mistakes I made. I was also trying to be in charge because I made, a significant amount of money. And I thought that gave me the right to be in charge. And then, all of this, but it made my house be upside down, and it caused a lot of chaos. Once I realized that I needed to submit to him, he submit to God like God did with him, but I needed to take the number 2 spot. Let him run the house. Let him, make the decisions. We can collaborate on it, but basically he's the head of the house. It also, once we figured that part out, our kids got in line. They was manipulating really manipulating me. Because they were like, well, she wanted to be in charge, I'm going to go to her. They knew it was causing friction and all of that. But once we said, okay, he's the head of the household, I'm getting in the line behind him, they fell in line. And so that's kind of that. And then I had one thing that was a big aha moment for me. It was this whole silent treatment thing. I was a master at it. I ain't no big rah-rah, get in your face type of person, but I was silent treatment you to, no end. Yeah. You will be non-existent. I could be walking in and out like you don't even exist. But I was running a hotel, and I had just gotten the general manager spot, and we had to take all of these HR classes. And one of the things they said is that the silent treatment is considered cruel and unusual punishment in the workplace, and it is very much prohibited. So I was like, if they saying that it's cruel and unusual in the workplace, what is the silent treatment in a marriage? And I was like, oh boy, I need to stop that. And that's when I stopped. No more silent treatment.
It's not really constructive.
No, but I thought, I'm not rah-rah, I'm not arguing, I'm not in your face, I'm not that type person. So I was like, what is it hurting? But when I realized, I said, they say this is cruel punishment, I was like, no more. I will not do the silent treatment. I will not walk through the house not talking. So that was one of the big aha moments for me. And then during the pandemic, he did a lot of things to turn the marriage around. So he could talk about what he did was that really got us back on the right track too.
Yeah, Leon, and if you want to start from there, but what's your journey just been like for you, just in marriage?
It was like a battle all the time. We were just going back and forth, just going at each other. And like she mentioned earlier, I think our kids had a lot to do with it, because I'm a disciplinary guy, and at certain points when I was disciplining our children, she felt like I was too hard on them or too harsh on them. And I didn't see it that way. So that, brought a lot of conflict between me and her and our marriage. So, and that went on for years. I mean, just like she said, 15, almost 20 years. And so, I think that had a lot to do with all of our battles that we fought over the years. It had a lot to do with our kids and how they manipulated her. And, you know, they try to play us against each other. So it's. I'm glad. I'm happy where we are now. You know, and but it's been a struggle.
It's a journey. It's a process.
And I wish it was a blueprint. You know, I know the Cosbys, the Huxtables. You know, everybody.
Perfect TV families, right?
That was perfect family. But you know, a lot of that stuff, you know, just wasn't real. So, you know, and a lot of those issues that they had in their household, you know, we definitely didn't have them in ours.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I'm happy we went through all that because it's got us where we are now, and loving relationship.
And
you know,
and
we
one
can
thing,
talk to each other.
Yeah, definitely that communication. And one of the things I want to kind of touch on and clarify. I know you guys mentioned in regards to like your kids kind of like the word manipulation, and I think a lot of times even it may not even be that they know that, right? It might just be what they see or what they feel. But then you guys kind of had to condition them to be able to say, hey, you know, this is how we're gonna be moving. You know, because a lot of the time kids they just know what they see, right?
Right.
You know?
Yes, exactly.
And they're gonna get a yes from mom, and they're gonna automatically get a no from me.
Yeah, and that's part of that. That's part of that. They know, okay, well, I'm gonna go to mom and see what mom say, and then I'm gonna go to dad, and dad, maybe they'll talk to each other and try to figure all of that out. But then, as you guys realize more of, because you had mentioned you were kind of battling, how was it figuring out we are on the same team? Because it might seem as simple as, okay, we walked down the aisle, we got married, we got kids, we're on the same team, but you guys really had to learn that you were teammates, huh?
Yeah, we had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations. Like she said, a trial and error for us, and and we had to learn from that. Yeah, and that's the best teacher. Learn from your mistakes. Yeah, and so, and again, I think we're a better couple, better marriage, stronger marriage, and like I say, it was tough going through that, but I'm glad we did go through it because we're better from it.
I want to say one thing, like piggyback on what you said. One of the things that I learned, I had the kids too high on the totem pole. And he was like, no, marriage first, me and you first, then the kids. But I had them like too high, in the relationship. And then another thing is I had done this or read this article, and it did this football analogy. They were like, head coach, him, then he get a play to the quarterback, then I give it to the rest of the team. But what was happening is they was calling the plays themselves. You know what I'm saying? They call the plays. Quarterback don't know what's going on. What is the play? And then head coach just left all the way out. So
just watching the game.
Yeah.
Throwing my hat off on the ground.
So yeah, like an analogy, I was like, okay, now I get it. He call the play, give it to me, and then I go and call it on the field. Yeah. And then the other thing, like I said, the kids were too high, and so just bring them down a notch. We got this thing on YouTube say, F them kids, forget them kids. That's what the F is for. But basically, prioritize the relationship. The marriage. Yeah, and the marriage. Put all your energy there. They're gonna fall in line. They're going to be happier about that as well. So those were kind of two of the things that came out of that. And then he was big on, divorce is not an option. I threw it around a lot.
Yeah, she did.
You pull that thing out your arsenal, boy.
Yeah, I was like,
it's like she always had one foot out the door.
Yeah.
I was like, man, please, I'm gone. He just, he was like, no. That's not an option. We gonna work through this. But I'm glad we did.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing from you guys, is really, it's really like a dance, right? And then within a dance, there has to be someone who's kind of taking that lead, right? Talk to me about Just Dance with Me, right? So you all written a book. I know that you're no stranger to writing. Talk to me a little bit about the book that you all have. How did it come to be? How did you realize, hey, we want to be able to write this book together? Did you guys sit around and say, hey, this is kind of like a dance, and then you led into Just Dance with Me? Well, talk to me a little bit about you all's book.
So this is fun, and I'm gonna get to the book. So. Yeah. You know what?
The
I'm gonna go
preface.
with the preface to it. So
Yeah.
back in at the end of 2021, I was like, I'm retiring from my career, like hospitality, and I'm going work from home and start my consulting business.
We're coming out of the pandemic at this time.
Yeah,
Kinda,
coming
sorta,
out, and so I just got promoted to the highest position that you can get inside the hotel on property, general manager.
Okay.
So I did it for a year, but the pandemic was crazy. I'm like, you know what? I'm hanging my head up on this, and so I was like, I'm gonna work from home. About a month after I retired, I don't even think it was a month. He was like, I was around here applying for jobs, and guess what? Got me one working from home.
Yeah, I know that's
And
right.
I'm like, I thought I'm finna be at the house by myself. And he told me, nope, I'm working from home too. So I was like, okay, cool. I said, well, since you're gonna be working from home, I've always had this idea about us writing a book together because I was also book coach for self-published authors. So I was like, we're gonna do a book. And he was like, oh, no, that ain't my thing. That's your thing. And I was like, no, we're going to write it together, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to coach you through it. So I coached him through. I said, just be authentic, genuine about your part of it. So every chapter we had from my perspective and his perspective. And we talked about submission, and we talked about disciplining the kids. We talked about, finances and church and religion and how we met and upbringings and all of that. But, his perspective, my perspective. One of the aha moments when we wrote the book, because we didn't write it together. So he would send me his portions, and I would do the editing and put it into the manuscript. And so I read his portion on finances, and it like broke me down, where he was like, you know what, I wish that I had listen to my wife more. I wish I had done this, and I wish and he talked about and admitted some things there. And then there was some other parts where I was reading his part, and I'm like, oh, wow, I can't even believe that, that he said that, these are things that, we never talked about. We kind of danced around, but he really went deep into it. And so it was very eye-opening to me that all along things I thought was falling on deaf ears, he was listening, and he put it in his portion of the book. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really good. So when you do read it, it's like our real thoughts. It's our real perspectives on those different parts of marriage. And it's really good. We had people read it, and they were like, oh, my God. It was a couple in particular that I remember. The female was like, I can relate more to Leon, his part. And the guy was like, I relate more to Karita, which we thought that was really odd. You remember that? And but they loved the book, but they were like, I see his perspective more. And then, and then we had a couple that this was real, this was helpful, this was things that we both that we go through in our marriage. They were like, thank y'all so much for writing this book. So it really is like, we said, we don't want you to make the same mistakes we made, fall into the same pitfalls. We're hoping that we can help a young couple, a seasoned couple, a couple that is, thinking about being married, that they can see examples of things to avoid, so they can have the happy, blissful marriage earlier on. Yeah.
Would you write another book after this, Leon? After having just danced with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm open to it.
Yeah. Being able to tell more of those stories and have more of those experiences, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to know from you, Leon, you talked a little bit about how you really didn't have that blueprint, right? It was about figuring it out. You as a father, you as a husband, what have you been able to learn throughout this experience that you want to be able to pass on? You have a son, you have beautiful daughters. So as they, have men in their life, what is it that you want to instill as a husband and as a father to the men that come after you?
That's a good question. For as a father, I want my kids to be able to know that, they're loved. A lot of men don't get to show their emotions, and I tell my kids quite often that I love them, but at the same time I can be a little hard on them as well. But, you know, and I'm big on family. And my thing is I just want to, as a father, that my kids have always been loved, you know, no matter what my wife and I have gone through or going through, that I've always loved them, and I've always put them first.
Yeah.
As a husband, man, no. I've been blessed with this woman, and I can't say enough. You know, she's my rock. She's my world. She's my biggest supporter. So I wouldn't be where I am and who I am without her.
Yeah. Well, Karita, I'm gonna ask you the same question. You know, you have 2 daughters, you know, that you've been raising, and a son, you know, a prince in the house, right? What is it that you've been able to learn as a mom and as a wife that you want to instill into your daughters, as well as how, you know, how your son should treat the woman in his life?
For them as a whole, all 3 of them, patience and to give people grace to make mistakes. We're this whole social media society, you know, one mistake and it's cancel culture. Yeah. I just don't believe in that. Like, give people grace to be human. Because God is a merciful God, and He is gracious to us. So your spouse or significant other is going to make mistakes. As long as they live on this earth, they are going to make mistakes
That you're not gonna like.
Right. And some of them will be big and
Yeah.
some of them small, but it's not the end of the world. Give them grace to make those mistakes, as long as it's not physically harming you, and it's something that you can work through. Like, give them grace. Patience. And we are in a society or a culture where everybody wants things fast. And like I would say, like for my husband, for instance, the prayer ministry that I did, I wanted him to be a part of it, but he was like, I'm not ready for that. So do I, like, you know, not want to be married because he's not? He was like, I'm not ready for that. I'm gonna let you do that. He said, but I'm praying for you to be successful, and I'm supporting you from behind the scenes. And so I had to be okay with that. And so even with the girls, they can be kind of like me, like a little headstrong.
The apple don't fall too
A
far.
little flippity, yeah, at the mouth. They kind of mouthy. I'm like, you got to go into it a little different. You got to let y'all not the head of these households. I feel so. I'm like, y'all not the head of these households. Y'all got to let these men be, you know, kind of be the head. And for my son, I pray that he gets a praying woman as well. A woman that will hold him up, be like a Proverbs 31 woman, kind of support him, because he's a lot like his dad. So I think he's probably going to be a strong disciplinary. I see him with with my grandson, his nephew, and I could tell he's going to be, you know, very strict.
Great father.
Yeah, very strict, and he's going to need a woman that's strong, because that can hold him down. But he's a good guy. He's very he has a big heart. He loves to give. He loves to serve, all of that stuff. So I just believe that, you know, that he's going to be a good husband, a good household, good family, all of that stuff. He got a little bit of pressure on him because he's the last male Montgomery. So Leon's whole family is like, okay, you got to have a son.
They rolled me too.
Yeah, because they rolled him. He would have been the last male until Joshua was born.
Yeah.
And Joshua is literally the last male in that bloodline if it doesn't continue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's as a mother. What about as a wife?
Oh, as a wife, lots of prayer.
Repeat the question.
Yeah.
Okay. I know the question was basically, you know, what did you want to instill as a mother? You know, so even as a wife, what do you want to instill in your marriage?
Okay. I want to be. I like traditions. I like. I'm a big family person too, so I like family around a lot. He didn't, and I'm always on him about being in touch with his siblings more and all of that. But with me and Leon, I've learned to listen more. He's taught me to be more spontaneous, because I like stuff to be like
Very
rigid,
plan out,
plan
right?
out whatever. He's
Yeah,
taught
I'm
me to
that
be
way
more
too.
spontaneous. And then one of the things he always taught me, he was like, I got your back. Like, I don't have to say it all the time, but you need to know I have your back. And when it's been times where I really needed him to have my back, he had it. So that is one of the things that I'm very appreciative of. He's always had my back. And he's always loved me. Like, it was no doubt in my mind that he loved me. It was just me trying to figure out how to accept the love, I think. And worrying about the way things look to other people and image, different things. But he's like, he always say, it's me and you against the world. He was like, stop worrying about what everybody else saying and thinking it's me and you. And I'm always like, in the beginning, what would this person think? What would my mom think? My sister, my friends, whatever. He's like, forget them. It's me and you. It's what we think. It's what we want. And that's one of the things I really appreciate. So looking back on other people's relationships that are not as in the place that we are, I'm glad he said that, and I'm glad I embraced that it's me and you. It's me and him. So when things start looking rocky or crazy, he was like, hey, it's me and you. We don't have to worry about, stop worrying about everybody else. It's just me and you. And I'm like, yep, you're right.
Yeah. One thing that I'm hearing from you guys is about the importance of being on the same page, right? Being connected, being understanding, having that trust. Because I like what you had said earlier. Well, kind of both of you had touched on it, where it's like, trust me. I may not always say it. I may not always even show it. But you being able to really understand. And you said you had to learn that. Sometimes we have to learn to trust people, whether it's off of past experiences, whether it's off of certain things that we don't feel like we hear enough to be able to sign off on that love or whatever that looks like. So I definitely love being able to hear this journey and you all being on the same page. I want to know, is there a scripture that you all have that's at the center of your marriage? Is there a scripture that you live by? You had mentioned earlier about Josh having a Proverbs 41. 31 woman. What is it? It may be a shared scripture. It may be you have one and you have one. What's that go-to scripture, whether or not it's in a marriage or just even personally? What's your kind of go-to scripture?
It's the one on the refrigerator. Matthew. Mark. I can't quote it because I got to remember it.
Or at least, what does it talk about? What does it kind of say? Because I know we sometimes quoting.
I got a couple. The one he's talking about that's on the refrigerator, though, is Mark 11:23.
Okay.
When you pray, believe the things that you have prayed, and you will have whatsoever you say. That one's on the refrigerator.
Power in the tongue.
The power, yeah. And for me, I am Psalms 23rd. The 23rd Psalms, rather, girl, we had to quote it as children, and it can apply to a lot of different scenarios. So, like, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. We just need to know we don't want for anything, like even in marriage. And I like the part where it says, make me to lie down in green pastures and lead me beside the still waters. Yeah. We decided once a year we do a trip, just me and him. And we normally did it around his birthday. And we always go somewhere to water or a beach or somewhere like that.
Still waters.
Still waters. And that I took that from that scripture. And this year we're going to go to the Dominican Republic. But when I'm by that water, and I can just sit and be by the still waters. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. God has always been with us. And we said it the other day, oh, God was with us. Remember when that happened? Oh, man, God has always been with us. We had times where the house almost went into foreclosure. I don't know how we got it out, but God was with us. You know what I'm saying? We was about to lose this, whatever. He has always been with us, and we come out on top, like not a scratch.
He don't play about y'all.
No, God do not play about
The
us.
Montgomery family, boy.
Right. We were sitting back like, remember? We were reminiscing the other day, and it's just like every single time, like God just
show out
every time.
Yeah. I know He's going to continue to show out. I know that as y'all continue to grow and do more creative things, more family loving things, and all of those exciting things. Special shout out to Big K, Kaylin Mary, who has been on the show, and we've been able to work together and support her and love all the great things that you all are doing. I want to, as we begin to wrap up, what would you like to leave our audience with today? Whether it's marriage related, whether it's just personally as we enter this new season of 2026, what would you want the viewers here today to be able to just kind of walk away with? What's on your heart to be able to share with our viewers?
You want to go?
Let it go first.
He said he'll take it home,
you
right?
always do your core thing about communication. Okay.
Yeah, which I am.
Okay. One of the things that I want people to or anybody that's listening to walk away with is that tomorrow is a new day. And I just believe that whatever issues we're in today, leave them there and don't bring them into tomorrow. Start fresh, especially in a marriage. I believe in this. Do not go to bed angry, and don't take the issues and fights and arguments or disagreements from today into tomorrow. I'm not going to lay down my head without telling him I love him. I'm not going to lay down knowing if he has something going on in his life without praying with him and for him on the spot. And I will say to whoever is listening again, grace. Give your spouse or give your family or give your business, whatever, give it grace. Give it time to work itself out, and don't be in a hurry about everything. For sure.
Leon, what about you, man? What do you want to leave people with?
A marriage tip, I guess. Like my wife said, I'm big on communication. And, sometimes, you're going through your argument or your plights, and you don't know how to communicate, fussing and yelling and all that. It's just not working. So, you got to take a little time apart, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know how much time you need. If you can't get your words together, write them down, But you got to be able to communicate. And you also got to be willing to compromise. You got to be able to give a little and take a little. And that goes for both spouses. Yeah. And so those are my big pet peeves in marriage advice, being able to communicate and compromise.
One of the things I think people miss also with communication is not just always you speaking, but communication is listening. And not just listening, but active listening and regurgitating and understanding. Word. Yes, exactly what's going on. That is part of the communication as well. I think I've really been hearing a lot of the difference between a lie and being transparent. That seems to keep coming across, because it's like you cannot have lied, but it came off as a lie or untruthful because you weren't transparent. So I'm learning all of these different things, as I continue to learn and grow. And I thank you all for your wealth of knowledge. And I know when I need, if I'm going through something, I can give you guys a call, or we'll grab lunch or breakfast, or just have conversations and things like that. And I think that that's really important as well, is to find your village, right? It truly takes a village and a tribe to be able to figure it all out. So With that being said, thank you, Lele and RiRi.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate y'all
Thank you.
for coming onto the show, and thank y'all for being lit individuals, for giving birth to more lit individuals.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the more content that you all have, being able to bring you guys into so many different things that are out here and continuing to work with you all in your brand. As we begin to wrap up, though, I want you to let people know what all you guys do. I mean, you're content creators, you're marriage enthusiasts. People can book you guys for different opportunities, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we do social media and content creation like a one-on-one. So if couples or individuals want to get started, we have like a one-on-one pop-up content creator. So it's just giving tips of how to get started, giving tips about how to get your formats and how to get your formats, which social media platform you want to start with, and then some tips about how to keep growing followers, subscribers, and to get your numbers up.
For sure.
So we have some like real scientific ways of things that work.
And where can people follow you guys on social media platforms?
It's all Lele and RiRi, LELE and RiRi on every one of the platforms, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
And if y'all were listening today and y'all said, I need to get that book, I want to just dance with you, how can they also find their book as well?
It's on Amazon.com, and you can also find it on our social media sites on our Linktree link.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you both for being here. I love y'all so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, everyone. You look. We couldn't just talk to one lit individual today. We had to talk to two. That's right. Lele and RiRi have been here at Train to Catch Planes. Shout out to Brian Lane. Always a great time to be able to film these shows. You guys, I want to know more lit individuals. So if you are or know someone who is a lit individual, let us know. Go ahead and I want you to search Lele and RiRi right now. Go ahead and follow, subscribe, share, repost, and all that good stuff. Like, comment positively. And we're going to see you guys next time. Love y'all so much. Peace.
Everybody, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody, let's go. Let's go.